Go from your Insta360 EVO camera from shooting all the way to exporting to YouTube so you can view it in an Oculus Go or Quest or on the screen. So first thing you want to do is go to the Insta360 website and download their software. So you can either Google search it, Insta360 EVO downloads, and get to this page, or go directly to it, insta360.com/download/Insta360-EVO. So on this page, you're going to see that there's a camera control app for your phone, which you can also get from your phone app store. There's a firmware update. It's good to keep your camera with the most updated firmware. It'll operate better. You can follow the instructions on that. And then you'll get Insta360 Studio 2020, and you want to download that because not only that will it give you this app that you can do some quick editing for your files from your camera, it's also going to put in a plugin for Adobe Premiere if you have Adobe Premiere, so that you can import the camera's files directly into Adobe Premiere and use them directly inside this program. So once you've downloaded that, the fastest way to get your files from your camera to your computer is to simply plug in the USB cord that it comes with, plug it in from one side to your camera and the other side to your computer, and as long as you turn the camera on, in other words, it has flashing blue lights in the front of the camera, then you'll know it's on, your computer will treat it like a standard USB flash drive, and it will come up on your screen like that. And so when you have that plugged in, you will then see that there will be a folder called DCIM, probably like digital camera images and movies or something. And you can then open up that folder and you will see a subfolder called Camera 01. And in there you'll find all of your videos and stills if you've taken any still images. It should be twice as many files as you shot because left and right apparently are kept separate. You can then drag and drop these files onto a folder that you create on your computer. I've already done this. I'm just going to replace them so you can see how long this takes. These are fairly small files, 127 megs. There it is. So I've got a couple of files here, 64 each. And so then the fastest way to get these converted into something that YouTube can read is to open up the Insta360 Studio 2020 program if you only need to do some very simple editing. In other words, maybe you want to clip the front and the back where you're turned on and off the camera, and that's really all you're going to do. So you can then take the video files, I guess you can just double click them really, and they will probably automatically open, or you could drag them and drop them to the area on the left, and then it will immediately start playing in your program here. Now, if only you're going to do some quick clipping on like the front and back of the video, you can move these yellow areas to where you want the video to start and end, like this. Pretty simple. And if your camera was moving, you can use the flow state stabilization. If it was stationary, like I like to keep mine, I don't bother turning these on. It's not necessary. So that's about it. Now we're ready to upload. There's really not much more to go on here. And so I'm going to click the export button, which is the yellow button for uploading right here on the upper corner. And the format I want is H.264. That's what YouTube likes. As far as this bit rate, 200 is kind of excessive. You really don't need that much data. I usually drop this down to about 50, which is even overkill. I've even dropped it down to about 10. I actually visually cannot tell the difference. But 50 I think is good. Plenty of headroom. And so 264, like I said, you can turn on the color plus if you want a little bit of color enhancement. If you were shooting in a dark area, you could hit remove grain, but you really shouldn't shoot in dark areas. You can then browse for where you want it to go, and you can change the name if you like. I'm just going to hit OK. So now, depending upon how fast your computer is or how big your file is, this may take anywhere from less than a minute it could be, 20 minutes, half an hour even, depending upon how large your file is. So be patient if it's a large file. This is going pretty quick. So this is converting it to an MP4, and that's what you can upload directly to YouTube. And you'll see here's my folder, which is where I directed it to go. There's my MP4 video that it just made. So I can upload that to YouTube. There, it's done. I can upload that directly to YouTube at this point. And I'm going to show how to do that in just a moment. But for now, if you want to do some more editing and you have Adobe Premiere, you can open up Adobe Premiere, and we can get more going on than simply clipping the front and the back. You can do overdubs, you could do effects, you could put clips together, etc., etc. So if you've never used Premiere before, I'm just going to show the real basics here of how to do what we just did in this Insta360 program. I'm just going to show how to do that in Premiere. So opening Premiere, you will be presented with a window that looks something like this, perhaps, and then you can hit New Project. You can title it if you want, and you can browse for where it's going to keep that project. I think I'm going to place it in the same folder as the video files. You can put it wherever you like. I'm going to hit OK. And once you've done that, it will then present you with this big screen here with a bunch of blankish boxes. Now, because you've downloaded the Insta360 program and you've installed those plugins, it will read the camera files directly, no translation. So you can go File, Import, and grab those INSV files. And it will then appear in this little box on the left. You can then take one of them and drag it over to the right, this little box here in the right, and that's your timeline window. And it'll automatically show your video, and you'll have a timeline for your video, and you can even take the little playhead, the blue playhead, and scrub through it and see what's going on. So let's say now I want to clip the front and the back. That's all I'm going to do, real simple stuff here. You can get your razor blade tool from your tool area right here. Click the razor blade, and you can click on the area where you want to clip it, and it'll make a slice. I'm going to use the playhead so I can see what's going on in the video, so I can tell where I want to clip it. Let's say I'll start with my hand motion there, and I'll click it there. And then if I want to get rid of the slices I don't want that I've clipped off, I'm going to select this arrow tool, which is a selector tool, and then click on the video I don't want and hit my delete key on my keyboard. Delete and delete. Gone. And then I could either move this whole video over till it plays from the beginning and doesn't have a big black nothing area, which will play like a big black nothing area. You don't want that. I could either move it over by dragging it, or if you want to make sure it's exactly at the start, you can right click in the blank area and hit ripple delete, and it will automatically pop it right to the start. Next, you just have to export it up to YouTube. So make sure that your timeline is selected. You'll know because it's got this light blue box around it. And then hit File, Export Media. Your exporter window will open. You want to hit Format H.264. You can change the name. Here's the output name. You can change the name by clicking on it, and also you can tell it where to go at this point too. I'll call this like my video 2 or something. And hit save, and it will change the name. And now I'm in the video area, which should be where it defaults to. And we're going to leave a lot of this the way it is. This is all good. We may as well put render at maximum depth. Let's get our maximum out of this. So check that box. Scroll down, scroll down. Here's that bit rate again. Remember, it was 200 when we were at the Insta360 program. And I said to go to about 50. So 50 is good. Let's go to about 50. Doesn't have to be perfectly 50, but close enough. And make sure video is VR is checked. And then here at the bottom, oh, here, frame layout. It's not monoscopic. we're going to make it stereoscopic side by side, because that's what it looks like here. See, side by side, stereoscopic side by side. And then you may as well make sure that the use maximum render quality is checked as well. Let's get the maximum out of there. And then hit export. Same deal, depending upon how fast your computer is or how long your video is, this could take, this could be very quick, or this could take hours actually if it's a really long video. So you'll just have to wait for the export, and then when it's done you can go from there. So I'm going to assume this is all going to work, and now I'm going to go to YouTube and I'm going to upload my video. So I'm going to click on the YouTube right here. YouTube, here we go. And I'm going to click on the create button right here and hit upload video. And here you can select your file by hitting the select file button, or drag and drop your video right into this window. I'll hit select. I'll get one of these videos. Maybe I'll do my video too. Hopefully that's done already. I'll hit open, and it will start uploading it. So while it's uploading, you'll see it's got a progress bar here at the bottom. You could change the title to something better, like, you know, this is a test video or something in this case. And you can put a description. And then it's always a good idea, if you're shooting in 180-degree stereo, is to tell YouTube that that's what you've done, because sometimes it won't read it right. Most of the time it works, but sometimes it won't. And it won't show up as a stereo video in your headset. Instead, it'll just look like a flat video. You won't understand that that's what's supposed to happen. So you can sort of force it. You can go down here toward the bottom and open up the more options area. And that's going to have a place for tags. So tags are usually where you put keywords so somebody can find your video. But in this case, you can also put an instruction for YouTube. And so the instruction is YT, so you write in here, YT for YouTube, colon, crop, equals 16:9. And that's what it is. So it's basically telling YouTube, YouTube, to crop this video to 16:9. That seems to be the right instruction for this. And then you just click all the next buttons until it reads through, and then it will process your video. Now, it generally takes an extra half hour to an hour for YouTube to process a video that is in 360 or 180. And so even though it looks like it's up and ready to go, it will take a little bit longer to do. So that's about it.